Hey, this is Matt, and this is Let's Talk Music. I am here with Steven from Obelyskkh, and he's joining us today from Germany. Steven, how are you doing today?
Oh, thank you. I'm fine. Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for being on.
Yeah,
So let's talk about your new single, Grace, the Ultimate Grace of God.
yeah.
Um, give me
Um,
give me some background on that.
okay, the album was just released yesterday. It was a long progress with the record because we already started the songwriting process in 2019. We were a four-piece band before, and then our former guitar player left the band. So we had to kind of restructure the band and decided to go on as a trio, as a three-piece. And then we wrote some new songs as a trio in a total or more noisy, punky way than before. So it really already started in 2019 with all the progress of songwriting, and we were supposed to record the album already in 2019, but then we had some time problems with families and stuff, and so we wanted to move the recordings to 2020. Yeah, and then COVID came, the pandemic came, and so uh, it took more and more time, and we couldn't meet in the recording studio to record this album. So time passed and passed and passed, and now suddenly it's 2023, and finally, after 4 years, our album is out now, and that's really a great moment after such a long time
Oh, I bet.
because
Did
yeah,
you?
it was. Mhm.
Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
sorry.
Did you guys have any kind of release party or anything?
We will have a release party here in Germany. I think in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe 25th of February here in Germany.
Okay.
We will have in our close to our hometown. We will have a bigger release party. Obelisk and friends and family because the other band from our bass player is also playing and my other band is playing. So it's this family thing with big party and hopefully a cool show. Yeah.
So you're saying that you and your bass player both have another band?
Yeah. We all have other bands and other projects,
Oh,
of course, but Obelisk is our main band, and then of course we have some different projects. Like my project, it's not a real band. It's more like it has this jamming character, and I have few cool people with me, and we are playing live some here and then, but more or less like a big jam character. So we have those long songs, extended songs like 45 minutes or something, and more
gotcha.
improvised stuff. Yeah.
Okay,
But
cool.
our main band is Obelisk, and the focus is on that.
Is that a Misfits banner back there?
No, it's not a Misfits banner. It's called Misty Mountain. It was a festival I promoted before. I had two festivals going on here in our area, and Misty Mountain was one of that. Was an open air festival that
Oh,
we did for a few years with yeah all kind of strange music, experimental stuff, and yeah I sometimes promoted shows, and it was also always my main thing to have a cool mix of different styles of music. Like there was some avant-garde jazz, and afterwards a black metal band was playing or something like that. Totally different kind of genres. I really like that.
so sounds like you wear a few hats, man. I mean, you got two bands, you're promoting. I mean, that's pretty cool. So,
Yeah, it got less the last years, especially after pandemic. I got kind of lazy because I also enjoyed to just sit at home and going out with the dog and stuff. But before that, yeah, I was quite busy with two festivals and some shows here and then, and some musical projects. Yeah, but I
So,
think that's the main thing in my life. It has always been to make music and also to bring new music to people. I also had a little radio show here and stuff, and try to bring new and experimental music to people.
okay. Well, that's cool. I mean, it's new music is always fun to listen to. It's whether I think you like it or not, it's still cool to hear what artists are putting out. And it's like I said, I've been doing quite a few interviews from Europe and over in that area, and it's been really what's the word I'm looking for? It's been really eye opening, because
Yes,
um, the different styles of music over there. I mean, we have a mix here, but I don't think it's as heavy as what your guys is. You guys over there, you have so much more just you know it's like I think some of the a few of the bands that I've done recently are female fronted,
yeah,
and to listen to them with the unclean vocals, and we have that here too, but it's just you see this tiny little thing in front of the microphone, and then she just obliterates it, and it's freaking awesome.
absolutely, absolutely, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, I like that, yeah.
oh, go ahead.
Um, and for me, it's also as I did this festivals. I always tried to um, yeah to offer people different kinds of or different styles of music. Like
Mhm.
we mostly had this classical doom and stoner rock audience, and when you bring a um, experimental avant-garde jazz band or something in between all those doom bands and stoner bands, it's very funny to watch because half of the people, they say, oh my fucking god, that what's that, I'm leaving, I can't listen to that. But the other half of the people are like, oh cool, that's a great new stuff, and yeah, maybe I buy their record or something. And this was always what I liked, to bring new music or different styles of music to people.
Well, and I think when it comes to music or any form of art, you have to remain open minded.
Absolutely.
You can't be, and I was like that for the longest time. I was, just straight rock, heavy metal. I
Yeah,
didn't, your opinion on other music didn't matter to me. This was the ultimate stuff.
yeah,
And, that's, I've learned to open my mind to different music. I mean, there's more, hip hop, there's more country, there's more different styles of rock that I listen to now. It's not the same old stuff. And it's been really good for me. I mean, when I remember my son, he played a band for me called Under Oath, and it was
mhm,
nothing but, to me it was like nothing but screaming. I'm like, how do you listen to this? But then
yeah,
I really, really tuned into it, and I listened to the lyrics and I listened to the music, and I was like, oh, okay, I can work with this. Because I grew up on like Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, bands like that.
yeah,
So when you get into the ones that have the unclean vocals and the screaming and stuff, and I was just like, oh, I don't know about all this. And then, like I said, it opened up my mind, and now I enjoy it. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That, as you say, you have to open your mind, and then there's so many good things to explore. And for me, there's not any type of music or genre or something. For me, there's good music and bad music, and it doesn't matter if it's hip hop or jazz or classic or I don't know. It can be really good, and then I can see that it's yeah, good or made good, and so it's cool to listen to.
yeah, I
But you
think
have to be open minded. Yeah.
And I think one of the things that really just opened my mind was the fact that I realized um, you guys are artists and you have a specific talent that you have harnessed, that you've practiced, that you've perfected, and you've spent a lot of time doing this. And who am
Yeah,
I to say that you're not any good? You know what I mean? It's just like looking at a painting. Okay, everybody sees a painting differently, and
absolutely.
one person could say, "Oh, well, that's a picture of the sun." The other one could say, "No, that looks like the moon."
Yeah,
Way, you're both enjoying what's coming through to you, and that's what music is. Music is it's an expression of the artist, and it's an expression of the band members, and it feels like you know I think the fact that we have critics that say, oh well, this isn't this isn't that, or this is beneath them. Every once in a while, I mean, a bad song comes out, or a
yeah,
bad performance or whatever. I mean, you're human. You're not up there being, you're not robots up there. I mean, you still have lives. You still have your family to deal with, and the natural human emotions of depression and sadness.
absolutely. Yeah,
You still get sick. But the thing is I mean, like any other job, you guys go to work, you
yeah.
sniffling and snotting, and you get up on that stage and you do your thing and you put out, the best that you can. And
Mhm.
that's what's great about it. And that's what I'm saying. I don't feel like really anybody has the right to say, hey, you suck, because it,
Absolutely.
it's not, tell them to do it. You know what I mean? Why don't you get up there and play guitar and sing,
Yeah.
I mean, I know the basic chords of a guitar. That's about it. And to be able to play them together,
But sometimes that's enough when you want to um, put your expressions or your inside out. Sometimes it's enough to know three chords and know how to scream or something.
I mean, look at Angus Young.
Yeah.
Angus Young,
That's right.
that man does. Plays the same basic chords all the time. But man, AC/DC is one of the biggest bands in the world.
Absolutely, and that for nearly 50 years now or something. But that's also, I really love AC/DC because they are doing the same song for 50 years now, the
Mhm.
same chords, the same riff, and but this actually works. There are hundred of other bands. They're not having any progress at all, and it sounds like shit. Every song sounds like the same, but AC/DC makes it to make the same song for years and years, but it's
Right.
always cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they just. I think it's they found this formula when they started with Bon Scott, and
Yeah,
just use the same thing throughout the entire life of the band, and it's
yeah,
worked. I mean, every time they put out a new album, it's anticipated by thousands or millions, and it's always got radio play and stuff. So I
yeah,
mean, you're obviously doing something right when you get all that.
definitely. Yeah.
So what's ahead of you in 2023? We're gonna hear some more singles from you, or are you guys gonna get out and do some shows?
Yeah, actually, the release of the record was, as said, yesterday, and so we have a lot to do with promotion and trying to put out that record now, the next days. And then, yeah, first we have this release show here, and then we are actually working on putting up some shows. Uh, Probably no bigger tour or something because we all have families and it's uh, we get kind of old, and it's cool when we can play 2 or 3 weekend shows and then a few other weekend shows. So there will not be a 4 weeks tour or something weird. I
Right.
think too old for that. Yeah, but there will be some shows here and then. And then it's always like when you finally put out the new album, it's time to write new songs because all the progress is finished. Then the album is out, and then it's time to write new songs. And we will see what future brings. Um, we are not, yeah, we are not, or we are not trying to do the same album again and again and the same sound and the same song. We like to experiment a little bit, and maybe there will be something totally different. I don't know, some keyboard synthesizer, acoustic guitar album. You never know.
Right,
So
right.
we will see what 2023 will bring.
So this
We we
is
we we, we finished to make any plans after all this COVID stuff. We quit with making plans, so we just see what this year will bring.
yeah, it did throw a monkey wrench in a lot of people's business. So,
Yeah,
and I know that one of the things that I've discussed with other artists is that there was at least an upside to COVID, where you guys were not feeling as much pressure to put out music, and
that's right.
you were able to sit down and really focus on your writing, your instruments and everything. And I think a lot of new releases that I've heard of things that were done during the period of COVID are
Mm.
a lot more structured and a lot more well put together because of the fact that people were able to take longer times.
Yeah, that's right. And that was the same with our album. We didn't have any pressure. Like it has to be out on a special date or something, and when we have to it has to be finished until then. So we didn't have any pressure, and we really could work on the songs. As
Mhm.
said, the songs were written in 2019, and we wanted to record the album then. But then we had the time to work a little bit more on the songs, and that was really cool, I think.
Right. And you
Mm.
guys are through Mainstream Records, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Fantastic record label. Good friend of us, Andreas is a good friend of us for years now, and it's already our fourth album now on this label on Exile Mainstream. And being on Exile Mainstream is really great because it's not just a record label; it's more like a family.
Hmm.
Also with all the other bands, we are meeting here and there and playing shows together and having parties together. So that's a big family thing.
Right. And I see that is more prominent today than ever, is the smaller labels. And with the smaller labels, it is more, like you said, a family. Uh,
Yeah,
the bands know each other. You're again not getting the pressure to be put out music like you know week
yeah,
after week or whatever, month after
that's
month.
right.
And I mean, there's you still got your big ones, Geffen and Sony and all that, but
Yeah,
most of the people that almost everybody I talk to is either independent or on a small label. And
yeah,
I find that the musicians themselves are a lot happier. I mean, of course, it's nice to get that record deal where you're going to go out and do, a 1 year tour and you're going to bring in, millions of dollars and stuff. But I think that today's music, the way it is with, there not being album sales like there used to be, everything's being streamed. You can see everything on YouTube.
yeah.
I feel like that the happiness of the artist is a lot more, it shows a lot more now than it did before.
Absolutely, yeah. And as you said, like being on a smaller label, on a familiar or on a family label like Exile on Mainstream Records, you don't have the pressure to make shitloads of money and okay, and you have to bring out the record in the beginning of the next year or something. So you can just work in yeah, like you want to and make the music that you want to, and it's not like, okay, here's our new album, and the label says, okay, that's shit, we can't sell it, we can't play it on radio. So there's no pressure with that, and that
Right.
I think that's the cool thing. You can do your stuff and not what somebody expects from you.
So let me ask you, Stephen, why do you play music? What got you into music? And like how was you when all this started?
Playing music, that's it's a long time ago. For myself, I started actually playing music when I was 15 or something. We started a kind of a school project band that was very funny, made some stupid punk rock and just bought a shitty guitar and yeah, as you said, could play three chords or something, and then we started to make a school punk band, and yeah, for me that catched me. It was I felt this was my thing to do music and to play in a band, and so I had different bands from then on, and I always played music and played in bands since then. And actually, with Obelisk, we started in 2008. That's also already 15 years ago. Um, it was also more like a project. We were some friends working together at a very shitty call center shop, and we were all playing in different bands. And then we just talked there and said, okay, let's have some jam sessions. Um, it was never planned to be a real band. It was more like, yeah, let's do some jams. I also started there as a bass player first, and uh, so we didn't find a drummer, and suddenly I took the drums and started to play drums. I couldn't play drums at all, but it kind of fitted, and so it was this punk rock character. So we couldn't play our instruments or didn't know what to do, and it just developed, and we made some jam sessions, and yeah, so it started, and somehow it started to get a real band. I don't know, but yeah, we made some YouTube recordings of a live show, and then we were booked for more shows, and then it started to get a real band. Uh, and now we are here with our fifth album. That's quite cool, I think.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, who really influences you when it comes to music, and like who is it that just I think back in the day when you was 15 years old, who is it that you listened to and you thought, man, I'd like to do this?
There are so many different influences, I think. When I was 15, I listened a lot to punk rock, and it was this classical, okay, 15-year-old punk rock guy drinking beer and doing whatever I wanted to. But then there were very different influences. First I found bands like Caius and stuff, this stoner rock thing, and I was a lot of into this desert rock, stoner rock uh, thing. But then there came more and more 90s noise rock and 90s hardcore, and then some. I opened my mind for some experimental stuff, like there are very cool scenes for avant-garde music in Austria or in France, and I found more and more bands like from different kind of genres. I started to listen to jazz and stuff. And I think also that's the cool thing in our band, because we have very different musical backgrounds. Like our bass player, he's more this old school metal guy, and with some prog rock bands like Rush and stuff, and also this old school black and death metal bands. Our guitarist, he's more into 90s noise rock and some 70s blues rock and stuff. So we have this really different influences, and I think that's the cool thing when we are playing as a band and writing new songs, because we all bring those different influences, and we are not like, okay, we have to do I don't know, classical heavy metal song or something. So we have very different influences, and all of us bring those influences, and that's quite funny to write songs
Yeah, I
like that.
mean, I think it's kind of like any other job, you know what I mean? It's you got, your I guess you'd say your management team, and then you got your employees and whatever, and everybody kind of throws in their ideas to try and make things work, and where you guys have, you know, these different backgrounds, and it's, you know, you're taking it all and you're throwing it into a mixer, and you're coming out with, you know, the music that you guys really enjoy making and playing. And I
Yeah,
couldn't think of any better way to do it, man. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah.
so are you the primary songwriter, or do you all?
No, no, no. We don't have a primary songwriter. It's yeah, it's more like we start to usually our guitarist comes up with a riff, and then we try to play around with that new riff, and we don't write it down or something. It has to be cool and has to be catchy for us. So when we come back to the rehearsal room a few days later, it still has to be in our mind, in our heads, and then it's a cool riff, and we can work with that. Um, but there's no primary songwriter that someone comes up with a written down or recorded song structure, and we use that. It's more like every one of us puts in the own ideas in the song.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. And that's been going on a lot. You know, I've only talked to recently a few people that, you know, well, it's me and this person that do the writing or whatever. It's more of, like you said, that the guitars have come in with the riff. One of the bands I just talked to recently, like everybody did all their stuff, and the drummer was the last one to get, you know, all the tracks, and you know,
Yeah,
he laid his beat down, and it just all fit together like a puzzle, man. I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right.
so just one final question for you. I heard about you through Ear Split PR, and
Yeah.
how did you end up hooking up with them?
That was through our label, through Exile on Mainstream. Andreas from Exile on Mainstream, he's working with Dave from Earsplit PR for a longer time. I don't know for how long, but yeah, that's a good running team, I think. And yeah, Dave is really doing a great job. Um, so this absolutely works. And yeah, the funny thing with this promotion from Earsplit PR is like actually all the reviews and all the resonance we get for this album. We are a German band, but there's not so much coming back from Germany. Most of all the reviews and everything comes from the US. So it's very funny to see that we have uh, bigger and bigger fan base in the USA, and nothing happens in Germany, or not nothing, but it happens more in the USA than here, I think.
Well, I think that was is kind of like, well, you know, in the beginning when we was discussing that, like my interviews that I have over in Europe are getting more
Mhm.
views and more comments and whatever than the bands I do from the US.
Yeah,
And I think it's more because it's something we haven't heard. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
new, it's coming over here from, you know, Germany, Finland, Ireland, whatever. And it's kind of like, you know, one of our bands, you know, getting out over there. So there's not really a your band, our band. I mean, you know, music is universal.
Absolutely.
It's all a big community, a big family, and you know, I'm glad to talk to you, man. And I really am looking. You're actually my first interview for Dave for Ear Split. So
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
that's why I was
Yeah.
so kind of pressed about getting it done, because I'm like, man, you know, I want to do a good job so he'll use me again. And I'll tell you what, man, him and Liz, they send me probably 8 to 10 bands a day. And it's
Oh, okay,
hard to keep
okay.
up because I have a normal, you know, 9 to 5. And
Yeah, yeah, of course.
it's like I'm trying to listen to these while I'm working. I'm like, oh man, that's really cool. And then I'm like, who is that band that I listened to? And I got to scroll through it, and, you know, but
Yeah, yeah.
you know, it's been great, man. This is just more of a hobby for me. I love talking to musicians. I love music. I love checking out new stuff. like I said, since I opened up my mind and wasn't so closed off to just the genres that I really listened to for years,
Yeah.
it's worked out great. It's opened up a lot for me. So,
Yeah, cool, cool.
all right, buddy. Well, I really do appreciate your time, and I know it's evening over there, so
Yeah,
I will let you
that's
get
easy.
this evening and
It's
fam-
not too late.
Yeah. What are you, 6 hours difference or seven?
I think it's 6. You're on the East Coast
Yeah,
or
yeah,
East
we're on the
Coast?
East Coast.
East, yeah, then it's 6 hours, I think. So it's 5:30 in the evening. That's all
Got,
fine.
gotcha. All right. Well, we will look forward to new music, man, and best of luck to you guys, and maybe
Thank you.
we'll catch up later on this year and see how you're doing.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. And same to you. Good luck for your YouTube channel and your program. Cool thing. Keep it on.
All right, buddy. Well, have a good evening.
Okay. Good
Mm.
day to you. Thank you. Bye bye.